Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire Nashtu Praheshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. So continuing with the discussion on Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila, Chapter 5, the activities of Sakshi Gopal, text 25 onwards. So yesterday we discussed how these two Brahmins, younger and older, they went to different places of pilgrimage, and finally they came to Vrindavan, and where the older Brahman, he said, I'm very happy with your service and I give you my daughter for marriage. And the younger Brahman said, well, it doesn't sound a very good idea because you are rich, aristocratic, educated, and I'm not at all any of these. So how is it going to happen? So text 25. Bada vipra kahe tumi nakar sanchaya, tomake kanya diba ami karila nishchaya. The older Brahman replied, my dear boy, do not doubt me. I'll give you my daughter in charity. I've already decided this. Chota Vipra bale tomar stri putra saba bahu gyati koshti tomar bahut bandhav. The young Brahman said, you have a wife and sons and you have a large circle of relatives and friends. Dasavar sammati vina nahi kanya dana Rukminira pita bhishmak tahate pramana. Without the consent of all your friends and relatives, it is not possible to give me your daughter in charity. Just consider the story of Queen Rukmini and her father, Bhishmak. Bhishmakera ichha Krishna kanya samarpite, putrera virodhe kanya narila arpite. King Bhishmak wanted to give his daughter Rukmini in charity to Krishna. But Rukmi, his eldest son, objected. Therefore, he could not carry out his decision. As stated in Bhagavatam, King Bhishmak of Vidarbha wanted to offer Krishna his daughter, Rukmini, but Rukmi, the eldest of his 5 sons, objected. Therefore, Bhishmak withdrew his decision and decided to offer Rukmini to the king of Chedi, Shishupal, who was a cousin of Krishna. However, Rukmini conceived of a trick. She sent a letter to Krishna asking him to kidnap her. Thus, in order to please Rukmini, who was his great devotee, Krishna kidnapped her. There ensued a great fight between Krishna and opposing party, headed by Rukmini's brother, Rukmi. Rukmi was defeated and, because of his harsh words against Krishna, was about to be killed, but he was saved at the request of Rukmini. However, Krishna shaved off all of Rukmi's hair with his sword. Shri Balram did not like this, and so to please Rukmini, Balram rebuked Krishna. So younger Brahman is reminding the older Brahman that this is what happened even in case of Rukmini. So without consulting your family, how can you give me your daughter? Bada vipra kehe kanya mor nij dhana dite nishe dhibe ko na jana. The elderly Brahman said, my daughter is my own property. If I choose to give my property to someone who has the power to stop me, Toma ke kanya diva sabha ke kari tiraskara sanchaya na kara tumi kara svikara. My dear boy, I'll give my daughter to you in charity, and I will neglect the position of all others. Don't doubt me in this regard. Just accept my proposal. Chota Vipra kehe yadi kanya dite mana, Gopalera age kaha ei satya vachan. The younger Brahman replied, if you have decided to give your young daughter to me, then say so before the Gopala deity. So at least, uh, at least at that time, people would still refrain from speaking lies in front of the deity. The younger Brahman was not going to ask him to sign an affidavit or MOU or something. Just say before Gopal deity, and that's good enough. But these days, people don't even care to tell lies in front of deities or anybody. They don't care. They just tell lies. गोपालेर आगे विप्र कही तेला गीला तुम्ही जान निज कन्या इहारे आमी दीला. Coming before Gopal, the elderly Brahman said, "My dear Lord, please witness that I have given my daughter to this boy." In India, it is still the custom for a daughter to be offered to someone simply by word. This is called Vag Datta. This means that the father, brother, or guardian of a girl has given his word that she will be married to a certain man. Consequently, their daughter cannot be married to anyone else. She is reserved by virtue of the honest words of the father or guardian. There are many instances in which the parents of a female child have given someone a verbal promise that their daughter will be married to his son. Both parties agree to wait until the boy and girl are grown up, and then the marriage takes place. Following this custom, which is very old in India, the elderly Brahman promised to give his daughter to the younger Brahman in charity. And he promised this before the Gopal deity. In India, the custom is to honor any promise made before the deity. Such a promise cannot be cancelled. In Indian villages, whenever there is a quarrel between two parties, they go to a temple to settle the quarrel. Whatever is spoken in front of the deity is taken to be true, for no one would dare lie before the deity. This same principle was followed in the battle of Kurukshetra. Therefore, in the very beginning of Bhagavad Gita, it is said, Dharm Kshetre Kurukshetre. But this has really gone down now. They don't care whether in front of deity, because they don't even believe in the deities. People don't believe. So who cares what they have promised, what they have said? By not becoming God conscious, human society is deteriorating to the lowest standard of animal life. This Krishna consciousness movement is very essential to reviving God consciousness among the general populace. If people actually become God conscious, all quarrels can be settled outside of court, as happened in the case of the two Brahmins whose disagreement was settled by the witness Gopal. So that would be an ideal situation. Everything settled in front of God, in front of deity. But it doesn't happen always. Chota Vipra Bale Thakur, Tumi Mor Sakshi. Toma Sakshi Bolai Mu Yadi Anyatha Dekhi. Then the younger Brahman addressed the deity, saying, "My dear Lord, you are my witness. I shall call for you to testify, if it is necessary, later on." Etabali dui jane chalila deshe Guru Buddha Chota Vipra Bahu Sevakare. After these talks, the two Brahmins started for home. As usual, the young Brahman accompanied the elderly Brahman as if the older Brahman were a guru, spiritual master, and rendered him service in various ways. देशे आसी दुई जने गेला निज घरे कथ दिने बड़ा विप्रा चिंतिता अंतारे. After returning to Vidyanagar, each Brahman went to his respective home. After some time, the elderly Brahman became very anxious. तीर्थे विप्रे वाक्य दिलो केमते सत्य है स्त्री पुत्र ज्ञाति बंधु जानी बे निश्चय. He began to think, I have given my word to a Brahman in a holy place, and what I promised will certainly come to pass. I must now disclose this to my wife, sons, other relatives, and friends. So the elder Brahman, he was anxious that I have given my word. I shall fulfill my promise. These days, who cares whether given the word in the temple or in dham or anywhere else? What matters is money. बाप बड़ा ना भैया सबसे बड़ा रुपया. That's all it matters. And and to think of that Krishna is not watching, nobody is noticing what I have said, and I lie and I go back on my word. And I think I am not going to suffer for this karma. This is nonsense. This is what Prabhupada is saying. It's God consciousness. One has to become God conscious or Krishna conscious. But it just doesn't work like that. And this is one of the reasons people are suffering. So much of suffering is there. They don't want to keep their word. एक दिन निज लोक एकत्र करीला तस बार आगे सब वृतांत कहीला. Thus one day the elderly Brahmin called for a meeting of all his relatives and friends. And before them all he narrated what had taken place in front of Gopal. Shuni sab goshtitar kare hahakar, aiche baat mukhe tumi nani beyar. When those who belonged to the family circle heard the narration of the old Brahmin, they made exclamations, showing their disappointment. They all requested that he not make such a proposal again. But he had already proposed. नीचे कन्या दिले कुल याबी के नाश सुनिया सकल लोक करीबे उपहास. They unanimously agreed, if you offer our daughter to a degraded family, your aristocracy will be lost. When people hear of this, they will make jokes and laugh at you. विप्र बोले तीर्थ वाक्य केमने करियान या ये हौक से हौक आमी दिव्य कन्यादान. The elderly Brahman said, how can I undo the promise I made in a holy place while on pilgrimage? Whatever may happen, I must give him my daughter in charity. ज्ञाति लोक कहे मोरा तोमा के छाड़ी बा स्त्री पुत्र कहे विष खाई हमारी बा. The relatives unanimously said, if you give your daughter to that boy, we shall give up all connection with you. Indeed, his wife and sons declared, if such a thing happens, we shall take poison and die. Good luck for the older Brahman. विप्र बले साक्षी बोलाया करी वेक न्याय जीती कन्या लबे मोर व्यर्थ धर्म हाय. The elderly Brahman said, if I do not give my daughter to the young Brahman, he will call Shri Gopalji as a witness. Thus, he will take my daughter by force, and in that case, my religious principles will become meaningless. The people were more afraid of breaking the religious principles than of anything else. Because they know next life I have to suffer for this. But normally people they don't care for next life. This life is all in all, that's it. पुत्र बले प्रतिमा साक्षी सिंह दूर देश कि तुम्हारे साक्षी दिव्य चिंता कर कैसे. His son replied, the deity may be a witness, but he is in a distant country. How can he come to bear witness against you? Why are you so anxious over this? Nahi kahi na kahi ho, e mithya vachan, sabe kaibe mora kichu nahi kasmaran. You do not have to flatly deny that you spoke such a thing. There is no need to make a false statement. Simply say that you do not remember what you said. As if, as if Yamraj and his assistants, they don't notice or they don't keep track of everything that we say or we do. This is the Brahman's family. Actually, the family members, they were not qualified Brahmins. So that's why they're discussing how to tell lie. তুমি यदि कहा আমি কিছুই না জানি তবে আমি ন্যায় করি ব্রাহ্মণের জনী. If you simply say I do not remember, I shall take care of the rest. By argument, I shall defeat the young Brahman. So this was the son of elderly Brahman. He said, you just say I don't remember what happened. The son of the elderly Brahman was an atheist and a follower of the Raghunath Smriti. Okay, this must have gotten from somewhere. Prabhupada must have gotten from somewhere. He was very expert in dealing with pounds, shillings, pence, but he was a fool, number one. Consequently, he did not believe in the spiritual position of the deity, nor did he have any faith in the supreme personality of Godhead. Therefore, as a typical idol worshipper, he considered the form of the Lord to be made of stone or wood. Thus, he assured his father that the witness was only a stone deity and was not capable of speaking. Besides that, he assured his father that the deity was situated far away and consequently could not come to bear witness. He is far. We are in South India. He is in Vrindavan. In essence, he was saying, have no anxiety. Do not have to lie directly, but you should speak like a diplomat. Like King Yudhishthira when he spoke to Dronacharya, Ashwathama Hatha Iti Gaja. Following this principle, simply say that you do not remember anything and are completely unaware of the statements given by the young Brahman. If you make the background like that, I shall know how to fill in the argument and defeat him by word jugglery. Thus, I shall save you from having to give your daughter to him. In this way, our aristocracy will be saved. You have nothing to worry about. So this is going on all over the world. And Prabhupada, he is quoting this example of King Yudhishthira speaking lie to Dronacharya. Yes, Yudhishthira Maharaj told only one lie in all his life. And that too, when Krishna told him to do so. And in fact, Yudhishthira Maharaj had to go to hell for a moment only, but he had to go to hell. Not for telling a lie, actually, for refusing Krishna to tell a lie. His sin was not that he told lie when Krishna told him, but because he refused. First, I mean, ultimately he lied, but earlier he refused. And for that reason, he had to go to hell. So obviously, this is about Maharaj Yudhishthira, and Krishna himself was there. We cannot imitate him. We cannot imitate him. Krishna is not telling us to tell lie. And anytime we break or not follow dharma, then we have to suffer. Simple as that. The reactions will be there. Etashuni viprera chintit hailaman ekanta bhave chinte vipra gopal chara. When the elderly Brahman heard this, his mind became very much agitated. Feeling helpless, he simply turned his attention to the lotus feet of Gopal. मोर धर्म रक्षा पाए न मारे निज जान दुई raksha kar Gopal laino sharan. The elderly Brahmin prayed, my dear Lord Gopal, I have taken shelter of your lotus feet. Therefore, I request you to please protect my religious principles from disturbance and at the same time save my kinsman from dying. So he knew only Gopal could do that. एई मत विप्र चित्ते चिंतित लागिला आर दिन लघु विप्र तार घर आइला. The next day, the elderly Brahman was thinking deeply about this matter when the young Brahman came to his house. आसिया परम भक्त नमस्कार करी विनय करिया कहे कर दुई जोड़ी. The young Brahman came to him and offered respectful obeisances. Then very humbly, folding his hands, he spoke as follows. Tumi मोर कन्या दीते करिया अंगीकार एबे किछु नाही कहा कि तुम्हारा विचार. You have promised to give your daughter in charity to me. Now you do not say anything. What's your conclusion? एते शुनि सई विप्र रहे मौन धारी तार पुत्र मारिते आइला हाथे ठेंगकारी. After the young Brahman submitted his statement, the elderly Brahman remained silent. Taking this opportunity, his son immediately came out with a stick to strike the younger man. Are adham mor bhagani chaha vivahite vaman haya chanda jena chahata dharite. The son said, "Oh, you are most degraded. You want to marry my sister, just like a dwarf who wants to catch the moon." Theya dekhi sahi vipra palaya gela, ar din gramir lok ekatra karila. Seeing a stick in the hand of the son, the younger Brahman fled. The next day, however, he gathered together all the people of the village. Now, a question may arise, was this young Brahman so lusty, or he wanted money from this older Brahman's family, money in the form of dowry, and he wanted this beautiful girl to marry? What was the reason? Why was he so eager to marry this girl? The reason was he didn't want the older Brahman to become a liar, to go back on his word, and to ultimately suffer a lot. So he wanted the older Brahman to follow the dharma, so he didn't have to suffer. सब लोक बड़ा विप्र डाकिया नीला तबे से ही लघु विप्र कहिते लगी. All the people of the village then called for the elderly Brahman and brought him to the meeting place. The young Brahman then began to speak before them as follows. Iha mor kanya dite karya che angikar eve ye na dena pucha ihara vyavahar. This gentleman has promised to hand over his daughter to me, yet now he does not follow his promise. Please ask him about his behavior. तबे सही विप्रेरे पुछीला सर्व जाना कन्या केने ना देहा यदि दियाच वचन. All the people gathered there asked the elderly Brahman, if you have already promised to give him your daughter in charity, why are you not fulfilling your promise? You have given your word of honor. Vipra kahe shun lok mor nivedana kabe ki baliyachi mor nahi kasmarana. The elderly Brahman said, my dear friends, please hear what I have to submit. I do not exactly remember making a promise like that. Etashuni Taraputra Vakya Chalapaya Pragalbha Haya Kahe Samukhe Asiya. When the elderly Brahman's son heard this, he took the opportunity to juggle some words. Becoming very impudent, he stood before the assembly and spoke as follows. तीर्थ यात्राया पितार संगे चिल बहुदान धन देखी ये दुष्टेर लाइते है लमान. While touring various holy places of pilgrimage, my father carried much money. Seeing the money, this rogue decided to take it away. आर केह संगे नाही ए संगे काला धुतुर खायो याया बापे करी pagal. There was no one besides this man and with my father, giving him an intoxicant known as dhatura to eat. This rogue made my father mad. सबे धन लया कहे चोरे लाइला धान कन्या दीते चाही याचे उठाइला वचन. Having taken all my father's money, this rogue claimed that it was taken by some thief. Now he is claiming that my father has promised to give him his daughter in charity. Tomara sakal loka kara vichare, mora pitar kanya dite yogya ki ihare. All of you assembled here are gentlemen. Please judge whether it is befitting to offer this poor Brahman my father's daughter. एतेषुनि लोके रमने हैला संशय संभवे धन लोभे लोक छाड़े धर्म. Hearing all these statements, all the people gathered there became a little doubtful. They thought it quite possible that because of attraction for riches, one might give up his religious principles. So, wonderful panchayat is going on. So anyway, we'll stop here and take it up tomorrow. See anybody has any questions or comments. Okay, you all have a safe and wonderful day. Hare Krishna, Jai Shri Ram.